I'm Linda Elsegood, founder of the LDN Research Trust. It has been my honour to interview LDN researchers, prescribers, pharmacists and patients from around the world for many conditions. Thank you for joining us. Today we have Kathy joining us. Kathy has multiple sclerosis. She's originally from England and now lives in France. Thank you for joining me, Kathy.
Hi there.
Could you tell us how old you were when you first started to experience your MS symptoms?
Yeah, I was 50.
Okay, and what did you notice at that time?
Well, funny enough, I just had a strange sensation down my right-hand side, not completely numb, but just strange tingling almost, and my local doctor here thought that I possibly had a mild stroke, so that's why I was taken to hospital immediately. And when they found out it wasn't a stroke, they then went ahead and tested for MS and said that I seemed to have a mild form of MS.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say your condition was like before you found LDN?
Well, all I'd had up to that point, as I say, was this numbness down the right-hand side, which came and went a little bit. It was always there in the extremities, not debilitating, purely sensory, didn't really cause me any problems, as I say, only because I thought it was a stroke that it became a bit of a medical emergency. The doctors here were keen that I started, my MRI scan did show that I had one active lesion, and the doctors here were keen that I started the DMDs, which I was very keen not to start, and basically stayed off of that, or didn't even entertain the idea until a year later, or last March, I had optic neuritis in my left eye, which didn't totally take away my vision, but sort of left it blotchy. And then, of course, the doctors started again with the DMDs, which I'm afraid I have no faith in whatsoever. And I've been reading already about LDN. I've explored it very, very, very thoroughly. Kind of seemed a bit too good to be true. But I spoke to my local GP here, who said his advice was do not take the DMDs, but if I wanted to try this, it certainly wouldn't do me any harm. And he was all for it, although he hadn't heard of it in France for MS at all. There's no information here at all, unfortunately. Well, your information sheet is the only information I can get in French. There's nothing else at all. So he was very up for it, and that was that. Sorry.
Yeah, there's a man called Alex Overton. He's English in America, and he has a French website, and he's trying to gather as much information in French. So maybe you could team up with him. That would be
absolutely good. Be delighted to. Yes, yeah.
And how have you? How long have you been taking LDN? I
started last June. I denied for a while on it. Spoke to my family about it because obviously it was a big decision as to did they go down the advisory route of the proper drugs, or did I try something off-label, and all my family were very supportive. Bearing in mind I do have mild MS, and apart from the optic neuritis, it hasn't caused me any problems. So I started last June, which was actually only a month after my mother died. So it was a very stressful time, and I have been absolutely fine ever since. In fact, I felt better than I felt for many years.
Wow. When you say you felt better than you have for years, could you explain what you mean by that, how you felt?
Yeah, I'd started to get, I suppose, fatigue, which I put down to being probably premenopausal, but just fatigue, I don't really know, just not feeling 100%. But since I started taking the LDN, I get very vivid dreams, but not bad dreams, but they're still going strong. But I have energy. I'm enthusiastic. I can take on tasks and finish them without, feeling exhausted halfway through or mentally feeling like I can't do it. I feel good, basically. I feel 100% almost all of the time, which is probably better than I felt before I was diagnosed.
Wow. Well, you've probably had MS longer than when you were diagnosed. So,
yeah.
Well, that's amazing, isn't it? How fantastic is that?
Absolutely. And I have total faith in the drug. And I mean, as far as the neurologists here are concerned, that could be the thing. And I said, I don't care. To be honest, I don't care what it is that's making me feel okay. If it stops the relapses, brilliant. or, keeps them at bay for as long as possible. If it makes me feel better or even improves the symptoms, well, they're all a bonus. But really, I'm just trying to do something positive to stop the disease from progressing. But so far, I've been a year without any relapses, and as I say, feeling great and loving life and living life, not being dragged down by drugs that make me feel horrible. So.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for sharing your inspirational story with us. And
it's a pleasure.
We will see what we can do with LDN in France.
Or anything I can help with. I am rapidly translating bits as badly as I can with my French. But I do have a friend who has translated quite a lot for my local neurologist, and I'll be happy to send that information over. She translated some comprehensive stuff from one of the earlier books. But anything I can do to help, I'm certainly educating the doctors here as best I can.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much.
It's my pleasure.
Do you have LDN experience to share? If so, please email me, linda@ldnrt.org. I look forward to hearing from you.